Do you want to eat more plants but are a little unsure of where to start? Then this video is for you. I'm Christianna, Plant-Forward registered dietitian and chef, and in this video I share 12 radically practical tips to eat more plants. Tip number 1, start a plant-forward food journal. Now, food journaling gets a bad rap because of diet culture, but it doesn't have to be all about calories or macros. A plant-forward food journal is a way for you to record the new plant-based foods that you're trying and rate them and see how you like them. So your action step for this tip is to record each plant-based food you eat over the course of a week and rate it based on enjoyability, satisfaction, and whether you try it again. And I have a great tool for you. I have a line of journals for foodies that have cute covers with food puns on them. Tip number 2 is acknowledge the plant-based foods you already like and regularly eat. So let's say you enjoy a peanut butter sandwich. That's plant-based. Maybe you have a cup of lentil soup every now and then. Well, that's probably plant-based. So my point is here that you want to eat more plants, you probably like them and might be eating more plant-based foods than you think. So the idea is to have a baseline of what you're already eating. So your action step for this tip is to jot down in your food journal a list of the foods you commonly eat and see how many of them are plant-based. Tip number 3, this is a really important one. Understand how to build balanced plant-forward meals. The combination of protein, fat, fiber, and carbs in our meals and snacks is what helps us stay full and satisfied. So if you're not exactly sure how to build balanced plant-forward meals, then take action for this tip and listen to episode 3 of my podcast, The More Plants Made Easy, to clarify the specifics of building balanced plant-forward meals. Number 4 is such a good one. So tip 4, build a database of plant-based and plant-forward recipes. It's so important when you are making a transition to a new way of eating that you have a list of recipes, and even if they're not recipes, of meal ideas, right? This will save you a lot of stress when you're planning your meals and when you're, standing in front of your fridge trying to figure out what to cook at 6:30 p.m. So your action step for this tip is to visit your favorite food blogs or cookbooks and add 3 of these recipes to your plant-based food database. And if you don't have a database like a spreadsheet or anything, then jot them down in your food journal. And check out episode 9 of More Plants Made Easy, where I explain how to create a recipe database and categorize recipes to streamline meal prep. Tip 5, maintain a well-stocked plant-based pantry. So this is not unlike tip 4, and it's really all about how do you create an environment that's going to support a successful change in your diet. So the action step for this tip is to take a look in your fridge, cupboards, anywhere you keep food, and start to think about what plant-based foods you already have on hand and what might be some good foods to add, and then jot that down in your food journal and see if that makes it to your shopping list and you can add a couple of plant-based foods to your pantry that week. Compare this list to my plant-based staples in the Plant-Forward Essential Guide. Number 6, I love this one because I see this come up a lot. Embrace convenience foods. Processed foods, convenience foods are unnecessarily demonized, especially in the plant-based community. Processed foods, convenience foods can have a really healthy place in your diet and in your cooking routine. So I want you to take action and take a look at your pantry and see if there are any opportunities to add in convenience foods. So things like frozen vegetables, instant grains, packaged snacks, canned beans, and flavorful condiments. And if you're wondering how to cook frozen vegetables so they taste great, check out my article. Tip 7, build a meal plan. So, meal planning and meal prep can sometimes not be the most fun activity, at least in my opinion, and it can feel overwhelming. So, I've taken the stress out of it for you because I've worked in corporate kitchens where I've had to plan meals for thousands of people, and I've leveraged that experience and put it into a system. So, your action step here is to download a free copy of my Plant Forward Meal Prep Made Easy guide, and that will walk you through my whole system for meal planning and prepping. It also includes a full month of plant based lunch ideas with recipes and everything mapped out for you. Tip 8, learn about plant based marketing and nutrition labels. So, there's a ton of buzzwords and marketing around plant based. And it can be a little bit overwhelming, I think, if you're making the transition. You want to eat the right thing and you're not sure what that is. There's icons on packaging. You might not understand what the nutrition label is saying. So your action step here is to just observe. Take a look at the packaging on products at the store and start to get curious, start to ask questions. I help you demystify all of these labels and help you understand what a nutrition label means for your actual health in the Plant Forward Playbook. So, tip 9 is to go gradually or at your own pace. So, you don't have to go from steak to tempeh overnight, and you don't even have to abandon steak altogether in a plant forward framework. So, the idea here is to go at your own pace, and if going in a more gradual pace feels better to you, then do so. Your action step here is to try one plant based meal this week, maybe something from your recipe database or your list of recipes that you jotted down, or take one meal and swap the ratio of meat to plants. So increase the plants, decrease the meat, and see how that feels. Number 10, learn to be a better cook. Now, here's the thing with cooking. As you build confidence in the kitchen, it starts to help you feel more confident about the dietary change that you make. I love cooking and I love teaching people how to cook, but I also understand that not everybody loves to cook. So when I say cook, I also mean sort of meal assembly, meal preparation, just generally feeling more comfortable taking ingredients and putting them into a format of a meal. So, your action step here is to take action and think about one way in which you'd like to improve your cooking skills. Maybe it's knife skills, maybe it's getting more comfortable cooking at a high heat, maybe it's baking. And Google that for ideas on how you can get better and feel more confident in the kitchen. And of course, in the Plant Forward Playbook, we do all sorts of plant based cooking demos. I love tip 11, which is find a plant based buddy. So, this is all about building community around the experience of eating. So, maybe you have a friend, a coworker, a family member who's also interested in eating more plants, and you can start the journey together, swap recipes, trade meal ideas, enjoy a meal together, commiserate, that kind of thing. I will say that some plant based communities can get a little bit diety and a little bit dogmatic. So just kind of keep your feelers up and make sure that, the community that you're joining or the person that you're buddying up with kind of shares a supportive mentality. Your action step here is to give me a follow on Instagram or LinkedIn to join a supportive and non judgmental plant based and plant forward community. Tip 12, this is our last tip. Honestly, this is such a good one, and I really probably should have put it closer to the top, but here we are at the end. Tip 12, try the swap add method. So, the swap add method is what I teach people when they're just starting to eat more plants. And the idea here is that you don't have to create all new recipes or all new way of eating to eat more plants. So, picture yourself looking in front of a plate with food on it. Could be breakfast, lunch, dinner, it could be a snack. Ask yourself, what can I swap out of this meal to make it more plant based? And what can I add into this meal to make it more plant based? So, I've got 3 tips up here for you. And one of my favorite tips for dinner, something I do a lot at home, is swap crispy tofu for chicken in stir fries. Add edamame, colorful vegetables, and a dash of toasted sesame seeds. I hope that you found these 12 tips for radically practical ways to eat more plants something that can work for you. Now, remember, you don't have to do all 12 at once. Go gradually or go at your own pace. If you're looking for more support, then my Plant-Forward Playbook, nutrition counseling, and cooking education program might be a great fit for you.